This message is out there to anybody that's like multi-passionate, has multiple businesses, or you're just doing multiple different things with your life. You're not just like working one job, whatever it may be. But this is also out there to anybody to learn about like really not comparing your progress with anybody. For example, for me, I'm somebody that has an inspirational speaking business, have a podcast, have my own personal brand that I'm doing content on Instagram and YouTube on. I have these three big different things. I like to say I have like three different jobs, not to mention I have family, I have personal things. I have all these things in my life, right? And sometimes I can get stuck in my different worlds. I get stuck in my inspirational speaking business world. I get stuck in my personal brand world. And I'll get stuck in my podcast world. And I'll compare myself to people that maybe have a podcast as well, but that's the only thing they do. Then I'll compare myself to people with personal brands, and that's all they do. Then I'll compare myself to people in the inspirational speaking or the motivational speaking business, and that's all they do. And sometimes I'm like, I'm behind. But what I have to realize is I don't know first what else they have, and whatever they're dealing with doesn't compare to the things I'm dealing with. And I have my own life. You know what I mean? If that's the only thing they're like, the only thing they work on, like as a job, is the inspirational speaking business, and I do that, and I do my personal brand, and I do my YouTube, and, you know what I'm saying, and I do my podcast, then why am I comparing my success to that person? And I think we get caught up and always feeling behind when it isn't about being ahead or being on time with anybody. It's just about knowing, did we take the steps we knew we could every single day? And even when we don't take all the steps we can, we have to understand that's kind of impossible, because what that is defining is perfection, and none of us have it. And so the real question we should be asking is, did we take a step forward today? And if the answer is yes, then it was a successful day. And we have to keep taking one step at a time every single day and think long game, especially when you have multiple passions, multiple businesses, multiple things you're working on, whatever it may be. You have to understand it's going to take a little bit longer for you, because you're building an empire, not just one house. You're comparing your empire to other people making a shack. And while I'm going about this journey, I have to remember, like, dude, like, you're not going to be able to do what they do. And then you also have to remember, one of these three things may be more of a priority to you, but then you're still looking at this one like it's supposed to be compared to other people that's a priority for. Like for me, the inspirational speaking business is more of a way to fund these two other things. Well, I still like this and love this and want to make more money with it. It's not like my fullest dream anymore, you know? And so I'm comparing this to people when this is their everything. When this is just my thing that's funding these two things, because I believe when I get these two things, oh, everything, you know. But that's just me being real personal. But we have to remember, everybody's different. Everybody has different, like, things that make them good at what they do. And everybody has different situations, you know what I'm saying? And then with those different situations, different priorities. I'm comparing my third priority to somebody's number one priority. And I'm feeling upset, I'm getting down. And now it's affecting all three of my different things. What we have to do is look ourselves in the mirror and compare ourselves to that person. Nobody else. As long as you're taking a step forward. I'm not saying not to look at other people, take information, learn what they're doing, do better, whatever. But don't hold yourself accountable to their results, because you also don't know what's getting them that results. You don't know if they got lucky. You don't know if they bumped into somebody on the road and got them that deal that you want to get. You don't know. And you don't also know if life is preparing you for something bigger that you can't imagine yet. So sometimes delayed results is just preparing you for a better opportunity. I need y'all to really hear that one. Like, for example, one thing I'm seeing like so obvious in my life right now. So when it comes to this YouTube stuff, I really love this long form. Like, I can talk for more than like a minute, because for years I was just doing content on Instagram and I was like, why am I not blowing up? I know I'm saying some dope stuff, but I realized I was made to talk longer than that. And while it seemed like a disadvantage, no, there's more money on YouTube and I can talk longer on YouTube. You know what I'm saying? I think I'm made better for YouTube. And all those years of me practicing over there, and all them years, I remember I used to go live on Instagram. I didn't do YouTube long form. What I did was I went live on Instagram and talked like this. I didn't record, I just went live. And I did this over and over again with no results for like years. And that was preparing me for the opportunity of YouTube. Now I'm gonna have so much more quantity because I practiced it. Did it give me any results? No. Did it seem like, man, I was falling behind my competition? This guy went viral yesterday. This guy got this deal yesterday. Like, all these things made me feel like I was behind, but really life was preparing me for a bigger opportunity that's better than what I could have ever imagined. And if I would have let those things get in the way of that, I wouldn't be here right now on this YouTube video. I don't know how many people are watching this or will ever watch this, but I'm having fun making this. I wouldn't be here without it, you know? And so I think it's so important to realize, like, look, You can't compare yourself, because the moment you compare yourself is actually when you start falling behind. It's not the fact that you're falling behind from the other people. It's the moment you compare that actually gets you to fall behind. And when I say fall behind, I don't mean of them. I mean of your own destination, your own timeline. And so trust your process. Trust that even in the failures and the bad things, there's opportunities that are going to get you to where you're meant to go. And also trust where you're meant to go is something you can't understand yet. Like, understand your future is the one thing as human beings we don't know about. And so when we don't know about it, you have to understand that you're shooting and going for something that may be better than you can imagine. And so you have to trust the hardships are preparing you for where you're meant to go. And when I say again, where you're meant to go, I don't even know what that is for me or you. I manifest a lot, but I also understand, you know what? It could be even crazier than what I'm manifesting. But it takes me every single day, not comparing and just doing me, doing what I set out to do, getting my own process together, figuring out what works for me, understanding what my priorities are, not what other people's priorities are, or what other people's results are. That's the key. Remember, success is defined by what you define it as, not what they are doing. If you do that, define your own thing as success. Don't compare. Stay consistent. I promise you, wherever you're meant to go, you will get there. So keep being you. Keep seeing the perspective of like, dude, I'm growing. Just because you don't have a number you can see, amount of views, doesn't mean you're not making progress, all right? So make sure y'all like the video, subscribe. I believe in a second there'll be like a little binge Jamar. If you enjoyed this like 6-7 minutes, you're probably gonna want to binge me. So go ahead and binge me, or go ahead and watch like a similar video and hit that subscribe button. But regardless, I have fun making the video. So whatever you do, it don't matter. But I appreciate it. Peace. The key with any of this stuff is being able to understand that if you can't do that, then there's no way in, because you have to be able to know that when you're trying to do this, when you're trying to do this, then you have to be able to understand. You have to be able to understand that if you can't do this, bro, who cares what they think? I don't care. Why would I ever care what they think? I don't care what they think, because I understand that this is my moment. I don't need you to be able to see this. I don't need you to be able to understand that I'm doing what's best for me. And if you can't see that, then that's just not my problem. Because we have to understand that being able to do this